Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where their boots stomp all night. What? That's right. Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get the girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, shoot a back, shoot a back, spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back, spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl, hop inside. It's me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back. I'm one of them boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back and shoot her back and shoot her back and spit.
Welcome to the WINGIT call. Today is July 22nd, 2016. Lord, who'd have thought we'd been here now? Well, Pastor is not here, so I guess it falls to the redneck witness to give the invocation, and Lord, please guide my lips. You know what's on my mind. So if we all just take a knee, please. Lord, please bless and nourish nourish and provide everybody on this call that's listening with an understanding heart and ears to listen, to give us guidance, to protect us. Pre-RV and post-RV, you provide our needs for us, no matter what they are, in whatever condition they are. Just like birds that have no place to lay their head at night, you provide them comfort and food and nourishment. So please do this for the same for us. And forgive me for rambling. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So here is the disclaimer. We're not attorneys. We're not financial advisors. We're not CPAs. We're not giving any type of legal advice. This is our opinion, things we have developed. Any legal advice, please go seek it from a qualified professional. We are not professionals. For the rest of the disclaimer, please go to the wingitcall.com, and there's a disclaimer tab. Click on it, and it will give you the rest of the disclaimer. Okay, let's see. I defer to my elders. Art, take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody in currency land. You know, we always said dinar land, but there's more than one currency, so we should be saying currency land. Pastor, he flew to Oklahoma last night. He has to perform a wedding tomorrow, and talked to him a little bit earlier. And anyway, I guess if you went to Dinar Recaps and read Bruce's notes from last night, probably pretty much got the rumor tell, because the SKRs have been liquidated, a lot of them. Whether they all have or not, we're not sure. And not a lot of other stuff out there, just kind of sort of waiting for those for that to happen. The only other thing I heard was that the USNs have to become active, and then those people will get paid for their SKRs that supposedly have been liquidated. That's really all I got. I mean, there's always something floating around out there and nothing concrete, and so we don't want to put out anything that's not really concrete. So we're just awaiting, and we're good at waiting. So that's about it from my end here. Wish I had more.
Thank you, Art. I just want to say this. There is a post out there that I'm sure everybody has read. I believe in one God who's a loving God. He can be a vengeful God, but he's looking out for all of us, and that's who I believe in. And that's all I'm going to say about that. We have a special guest. Oh, Aiko, I had to mute you. If you'll just mute your phone on your end, I'll unmute you. And, before our special guest, Wingman, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I'm looking forward to hearing from the special guest, and I will mute out.
Thank you, sir. Well, Awake in 3D, welcome to the... Oh, you got bad feedback.
There we go. Better?
Much better.
Yep.
The floor is yours till you yield it like Donald Trump.
Did you just say that? All right. I did watch the whole speech this morning, all hour and 10 minutes of it, whatever it was. Hello, Jerry. Thanks for inviting me on this call. I don't do a lot of calls these days anymore, but, it just seems to get more and more, how do I say, a little bit crazy out there. Just when you think it can't get more crazy, it does. And that's okay as long as we know how to interpret it and see that. I think what I'd like to summarize a little bit here is there has been a lot of, I'm going to echo mode, sorry about that. I've been saying this for a few weeks now, and it continues to be the truth. We are in a position or a spot or a place in the overall GCR process, specifically related to releasing of funds for the currency exchange that all of us are here waiting for. And that continues to be the case. And earlier comment and some of the chatter that's out there is, I'm sure we'll get into this SKR issue and that type of thing. But I'll agree 100%. We're waiting for the USN to become a real entity, whether that's real behind the scenes or real in the public eye, is irrelevant. And the key is that has to be put into place. It has to be backed. The assets need to be connected with the dollar, right? Like a net underneath it. And folks that are saying last night and this morning that SKRs are liquid, but yet we're waiting for the USN to become active. Most people out there that have been, really reading up on this and following it and maintaining clarity throughout all of the chaos and confusion and hopium and these types of things, we've been waiting for the USN to be connected or go active forever. I mean, that is what we're waiting for, right? So we can talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But the reason, I came on, and thanks again for the invitation, Jerry, is, when all of the chaos and the confusion and the anxiety and the, I'll even say fear over this entire process and where one is within this exchange process, it's a very deeply personal, emotional thing. What I'd like to do is kind of pull back to the 50,000-foot view and kind of hopefully, I'm speaking to each person as an individual, not a group. And the way we interpret what's going on in the GCR, in our daily life, in minute to minute, and how we make decisions and what we think or feel at any given time, is very important in this process. And there's a thing I call, I didn't invent it, a very dear friend of mine invented this, is dinar land amnesia, or GCR land amnesia. We, 1 minute we're euphoric, and then the next minute we'll get a piece of information or read something on the internet or listen to a call, and our entire world will come crashing down, right? And then it will come up again, with the next piece of information. What I would like, as we go into this discussion, Jerry, what I'd like everyone that's listening to this call to please be aware of is just your conscious reaction to all of this news and what it means for you. Do you have the big picture? Are you confident? That type of thing. You know that this is coming. There's no doubt about it. If you have any doubts about it, please do not have any doubts about it. It is coming. Will it come tomorrow? Maybe. Tonight? Maybe. Next week? Maybe. Anyone that gives you a date or a time, please just go do something and enjoy your life, because it's not going to happen on that date or time. So the key thing is to stay consciously aware of how we're reacting. And the reason I say this is because I get literally hundreds of private messages a week on the various places that I'm active on. And I get messages from people that, based on a piece of information they have, they're wondering if they should buy more Zim. And they don't have the money for it, but they're convinced it's going to happen, like tonight, tomorrow. It has to. Look at this detailed information, whether it comes from SITREP or one of these other things. And, it really, it bothers me because, we've all made, I'm sure many of us have made some not really good financial decisions in the past. I'll tell you, I have. 5 years ago, made a huge financial decision that was the wrong decision because I thought the GCR, the RV back then, was going to happen, right? Within a month or 2 or 3, right? Bad decision. So please, no matter what information you get, no matter what source you get, do not purchase more currency if you cannot afford it. And there's many people that go through this every day. I know, because I hear from them. And if you can, sure. But please stay consciously aware of how you're reacting to these day-to-day, hour-to-hour pieces of information. Look for the big picture. Be confident. know that it's going to happen. And as you're building the pieces of this puzzle, and that's hopefully part of the reason what I can help with, and that's the only reason I'm here. I want people to stay grounded. I want them to stay consciously aware of the reality of what's happening here, so that we don't do knee-jerk reactions that could possibly hurt us 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, or 5 weeks from now. And if that's the only message everybody takes away from this today, then I will be immensely gracious and thankful for that. So why don't we, Jerry, go into where we are and bring up whatever issues have been important in your board and on your site, and let's bring that in and be consciously aware of what that means and where we are. You there, Jerry?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I was just
okay.
I was gathering my thoughts because I'd like to say that we're gone to hell in a handbasket according to some people out there, but that's just not true.
No, it's
true.
not.
No, it's not. Next thing you know, I'll be talking to my ascended master buddy, whoever that is, to figure out if I went to hell in a handbasket. Feedback.
That's right. There are many points of view out there, that's for sure. Okay?
Right. Star 2 to raise your hand to ask questions, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty today. So here we go with our first one. An old flashback from the past. Be on the web.
Hey, how's it going, Jerry?
It's on your end. 3D. Go ahead, B.
Yeah, I just got one question. When this whole thing gets done, are you going to do a Redneck University?
Well, I don't know. Are you going to be a professor?
Sure. I'll change my last name to Martin. Then you can call me Dean Martin.
Absolutely. I don't know. There's a lot of good people out there that I would rather fund them than I would do it myself because I'm not qualified. So there's a possibility.
Cool. My real question is, the banks seem to only be able to have this thing work when they're doing the SKRs, friends and family. Is this look like it's going to continue with this?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. And I want to say this for everybody to listen. There is nobody cashing out, cashing in. Now, they could be exchanging, but they're not liquid, hydrated, nothing like that. The only way somebody that's going to get money is they're so high up in the political realm we've never heard of them. People like that, the highly privileged, as they like to call themselves. Other than that, you're probably going to get an SKR. So it's a shotgun effect. All at once or none at all. Hope that helps you out.
It does. Thank you much, and I'll mute myself out.
Okay. Port St. Lucie, Florida, 772. Come on down. Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Hi, how are you?
Just fine. One question, please, so we can get as many as possible.
Yes. Do you have any idea what the outcome was of the G20 meeting in China?
Nope, it just started today. It'll be over Sunday.
It goes over the weekend. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, all the way. Oh, okay. Well,
all right.
I had a comment. I know personally someone that has an SKR and her funds have not been liquidated yet. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's not. She hasn't got anything. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. God bless you.
So I'd like to address this SKR issue a little bit, Jerry.
Hold on. Star two to raise your hand. We've got one person with their hand raised, and when the hands are gone, the call's over. Go ahead.
You run a tough ship.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to the caller. Sorry. So there seems to be some confusion about what an SKR is in the first place. What I'd like to clarify right now is that across general dinar land, across the private group sectors, across the high-level private placement program groups, across the high level of other types of affiliated groups, and there are many private group structures out there. A lot of people would like to debate who's registered, who's official, who's sanctioned. I love that word, who's sanctioned and all of that. But the bottom line is there's a lot of groups out there. And within those groups, there are ones that have SKRs, safekeeping receipts. Basically, it's a redemption coupon. It's a document that says you have lodged X amount of currency. Put it into escrow. A lot of people can understand that word escrow because when you buy a house, or property, things go into an escrow account, and then they are released at the time that all of the conditions of releasing that escrow account are fulfilled. Right? That's exactly where we are. All right? There are groups that have SKRs, which means they have literally collected currencies from their members, and they have gone into a place and met with official buyers and transaction teams that have been set up to handle these things, and the funds and the currency have been placed into an escrow-like account. All right? I don't want to argue whether it's a real escrow account. That's not the point. It's an analogy. So those items, the funds and the currency, when the conditions are met that release those escrow accounts, those two items, along with all the agreements and the contracts and things of that nature, will change hands, and the parties involved will receive what they came to the table to negotiate and to receive. There are other groups that have not received SKR. They still control the currency, although it's collected and it's packaged and it's validated and it's sitting somewhere in undisclosed location, in vaults, that type of thing. So the issue with the SKRs is many people that have reached out to me over the last couple of days are believing that every day groups or even regular people are being invited into banks, whether that's in San Diego or wherever else, and they are turning over their currency and getting an SKR, and those SKRs are liquid now, and what does that mean? All right. Well, the definition of liquid means you can buy pizza and beer with those funds, with those proceeds. All right. I know literally many dozens of people that have SKRs. I've seen the SKRs. I don't hold one personally, but I've seen them. And they're very valid documents and that type of thing. But the key thing is even though funds may have been moved into those escrow-like accounts, or they have come to some level, they may even be at a level of what's called a paymaster for that SKR group, or individual if you're a high currency holder, right? But the paymaster or the funds from that account, which is the other side of where the SKRs are lodged, and that's the word, lodged, nobody has access to those funds. The end person cannot go out and buy pizza and beer. And I'd like to just please ask everyone to stay grounded in this and resist the anxiety or the anxiousness or the feeling or the thoughts that you're somehow being left behind, that somehow you're not in the right group, that somehow there are people out there, what is it now? It's at almost 30,000 SKRs have been hydrated, liquidated, or liquefied. I don't even know what liquefied means. But but there are not 20-something thousand people out there living a brand new life right now with all the money that they could ever ask for. All right? I know many, many dozens of people with SKRs. I know many groups that have SKRs. And when you extend that out, it literally gets into the thousands of people. Literally. And out of 20-something thousand, 30,000 now, and God knows today it'll be 50,000 SKRs that have become liquid, not a single one of those people are telling me or indicating or saying anything that everything's great, they're done. So how out of 30,000, if there are several thousand people that I can reach out to, none of those people are included, wow. That's pretty statistically improbable, right? So I just want to, again, ask everyone to stay grounded and stay calm. You're not being left behind, right? There is nothing wrong going on out there, or the elites are not getting the best of us, and what are the elites, right? I don't even care for the word whales, because the word whales conjures up this fat cat greedy person. I know whales who have, did I just say that? I know people that have tremendous amounts of currency, and they are lodged. They are directly connected with senior high levels of wealth management, executive VP levels. They are known, and they are on a list, and they will be contacted immediately when these funds are released. That's the definition of liquid. The funds are released to the people that are going to exchange or redeem or transact these currencies in exchange for dollars or pounds or Australian dollars or wherever you are. And, that is just not the case at this moment. All right? It may be moving closer. I can tell you it is moving closer. I watch the funds. But, again, let's just stay cognizant. We know that things are progressing. There's been a lot of good information over the last several weeks. And just be confident and stay consciously aware that that's where we are, and you're not being left behind. I'm really just, I'm going to keep pounding on this message.
All is
yeah.
Life is good. You're okay. So
Yep.
let me say this. Liquid means you've got spendable cash. They do not.
Pizza and beer money. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
And
well,
one last
pizza
thing.
and water.
And yeah, one last thing. There's a rumor out there that the rates are live on the screen.
Oh God, I heard
that
just before the call.
Hold on. I'm going to agree with them that yes, they're live on the screen, but that's a big but. There's probably a little addendum attached to it that says administrative hold, or if they try to process somebody to the next screen, it says transaction denied. So until we get something that's official, they can have live on the screen, let's all grab the bus and go to the bank, and it's there. It's not there. They can say live all day long.
Yeah, as you know, I'm a stickler for words. What does live mean? That's like liquid. Live means they're transactable, right? Just because they're on a screen. And by the way, these currency rates, asset-backed currency rates, have been calculating on a specific network of, very high-end supercomputer type of, I call it supercomputer, but calculating. They've been doing that for a long time, right? And so what's the definition of live? Somebody can look on this monitor or terminal and see these asset-backed or fiat versus asset-backed, an asset-backed versus asset-backed currency pairs, just because you can see them and they're moving all the time based on real-time data, right? Economic data, that blah, 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 gross domestic product, all of these things, and gold stores and treasuries and these types of things. just because you can see them, is that your definition of live? Well, then they've been live for quite a while. I mean, a long time. I won't say how long. That's a no-fly zone for me. But they've been visible on a screen at various points for a long time. So I'm taking issue with the word live, Jerry. They're not live. Live means you can use them.
No. Correct.
They're calculated.
I got one thing
They're calculated. Yeah.
I got one thing to say about everybody getting everybody in an uproar. And I want you to listen closely, and then we're going to take a caller. And we know where that comes from, because that's about all that matters right now. All right, we're going to go to Dallas, Texas. 214, come on down.
Hi there. This question is for Awake. You've said that specific things need to happen in a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday window, and I'm wondering if what needed to happen did, and that we could receive appointments and go exchange over the weekend, or are we still waiting till next Tuesday for that last thing to drop in place before we can get our appointments to exchange?
Okay. Do you want the answer to that?
I do.
Okay. You asked. All right. Yes, there are very specific financial, mechanical, just call them steps. Things can happen between a Tuesday and a Thursday, and there's structural or infrastructural reasons for that. And they just are what they are. It's nothing magic. Where I am right now is I believe that those steps completed over this last Tuesday, Thursday window, right? So I as of today, Friday, I don't have, what I'm comfortable with calling a confirmation of that, right? My sources are unique, and I love them to death, and they keep me grounded, and they're the ones telling me when it's not happening, right? They're not feeding me how many exchange centers there are, how many people there are involved. They're not telling me how many dealer room machines are out there, right? They're saying, here's what needs to happen. It has not happened yet. There's a goal, all right? And here's, where we are, and I appreciate that. It's not what I want to hear, but it's there. So I believe that over this last, window, that I say, that key thing happened. All right, I've got to be careful with my words, and that could be a reason why there are certain financial funding movements happening, creating some of these kind of over speculated comments about the SKRs, right? So I will connect that. All right. So now your next question, the weekend. I'm going to say right now that I do not believe we're going to be in a position where any notifications are going to go out over this weekend. And is that because there's a problem, or there's another issue that has to be resolved? No, I believe that from the information I have, because there are just so many steps that have to happen to get that logistical process moving, right? I mean, it's like anything else in life. Things have to happen. If you need to open a bank account, you've actually got to drive to the bank, then you got to sit down, you got to fill out the papers, you got to do this. There are things that have to happen before the quote-unquote notifications or I don't even want to say this, 800 numbers go out there, and whether they all go out simultaneously or whether they're going to go out over the course of several weeks, nobody knows. And anybody that tells you they actually do know doesn't know, because the people that really do know are not going to get on a call or write a blog or put a post out there telling you how it's going to happen, right? So, so I think the reality is we have another weekend to go, and before we see substantial, tangible movement that's real for us. And I just want to remind everyone, no matter how much information we hear, no matter how much we read and how much we listen to, including this call, it's not real for us until we're actually there and we're looking at it happening. So just compartmentalize all this information, stay grounded, stay, aware of where you are and how you're feeling about this, and just look at the information, remember it, and stay confident. But it's not real no matter what you hear until you're actually experiencing it, until you're there. So in the meantime, everything that's going on, including what I'm saying right now, is just kind of noise because it's not real until we're there.
So relax. Just relax.
Yeah. Breathe.
Yeah. Did that help you out, ma'am?
Yeah, it did. Greetings from gladiators.
Thank you. Hi, family.
Bye-bye.
So my personal opinion is, I look at it, oh, come on, stupid computer page. There we go. We got that G20 meeting going on with all the bankers and everybody. They're all gathered up over there in China, and they won't be done till Sunday. So until they disperse and go back to their little bivouac and get ready, that's my reasoning. Too many people all in one spot. They need to go back and take care of business. So on to our next caller. New York City. Paste doesn't come from New York City. Paste pecani sauce. 917, New York City. Yo, David. New York City. That's where it says you're calling from. Area code 917. And we'll get back to you. Oop, there we go. I'll come back to him. There you go. Come on down,
Hello.
David.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, so my question is for Awake. Okay, so Awake. My question refers to the collapsing international bond market, the negative interest rates, and how that's going to affect the overall GCR. Can you discuss that and what your overall feelings on that, and with the negative interest rates now, affecting all the banks worldwide, how you feel that's going to work in our favor? Appreciate it.
He's going to give you a 60-second breakdown.
Yes. I think I've actually practiced doing this in 60 seconds, but I don't know. All right, here we go. There are two components there are two main sides to the GCR in relative to us and our reality, us all here as currency holders. I only relate everything in context to that. I mean, we can spread out into political and geoeconomic, macroeconomic events, but let's keep this in perspective for our reality. There are two sides to the unfoldment or the execution of the GCR. One is the private side. And the private side is stuff that happens before the public side. The private side is where, all of this other stuff is going on, forward rate agreements, SKRs, and all of that type of thing. 800 numbers, maybe, maybe not. Nobody knows where that sits, public, private, that type of thing. So the public side is directly related to what's going on with the bonds going into negative interest rate territory. And so if you take into perspective the private side and the public side is going to keep unwinding until we hit, what I'll call a back wall, right? And that back wall, it doesn't really have a date. It's just when things start to slide like an avalanche, one little snowball turning into a mile-wide avalanche within the current fiat currency system. At some point, it's going to hit a point of no return, and once a few large brokerages and institutional investment firms and hedge funds start to bail, then that's the avalanche starting right there. The liquidity of the bond markets is already strained beyond belief. Some would say it's actually illiquid right now. All right, but it's still going on today. But so all of these points, whether it's the bond market or whether what's going on with the petrodollar or whether what's going on with the euro dollar, whether what's going on with currency rates today or the Brexit or all of those things, they all are pieces of the public scenario that is leading to the eventual avalanche within the global economic system. The GCR is there to save it. It's the safety net. It will kick in. So I put that, it's very relative and it's very relevant to the global GCR and the 99.9% of the public that know nothing about what we're talking about right here. I want to be very careful to say that these particular events are not determinant on when the private side executes, right? There are other issues and things around that. And do they get discussed on the private side? And, okay, since this event is so close, should we look at that? I mean, the G20 meeting may be one of those things right now where it's bled over from the public side to the private side. So, yes, the answer is yes, it is related. But I want to, for our reality, again, it's not real till we're in the bank or wherever we're going to go. But it's not a determining factor like, oh my gosh, next week the bond market will collapse and that means, we're going to get notified for the exchanges. I would not make that connection. Was that 60 seconds? Hello?
Sorry, I had myself muted there. I'll say
okay.
one thing. Sean gives a great breakdown. I give the redneck version. If there is a back wall, let's just all remember one thing. China has said, and so has the IMF, come October 1st of this year, their currency will be asset-backed. Keep that in the back of your mind. So let us go on to our next caller, which will be, I'd love to go to Austin, Texas. Let me see, there it is right there. Austin, Texas, 512. Come on down.
Hello, Jerry.
Your one enlightening question, please. Hello?
Hello, Jerry.
Yep. Can you hear us? Can you hear me now?
I can. I'm enlightened. Listening to Awake is refreshing. I think we're in a special place right now, and we just can't get ahead of ourselves. We just can't get ahead of ourselves and get stupid. And take a deep breath.
Amen. Amen to that.
So I'm gonna sit back and wait for you guys to say something else that's revelatory that I can spread some whipped cream on and enjoy.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, sir.
All right. It is refreshing that we can keep in mind that, at the highest level of this whole thing, it is a gigantic global humanitarian project, right? I mean, that is a very comforting thing to know, and it keeps me going every day, right? So the financials we talk about, bond markets, and all these other things, the noise as I call it, and I'm one of the mouthpieces of that noise, I admit it. But the cool thing is that gets me up every day, and God, how many more things can I read, and videos can I watch, and conference calls can I be on? But what makes that all worthwhile is the benefit that this is going to bring to humanity and people like us every day, whether we're participating in this currency exchange and the things we're going to do with those proceeds after that from a ground roots or grassroots level, local levels to national to global. I encourage everyone to stay local because there are plenty of organizations that are going to handle the big global things. But I mean, there's another kind of 50,000-foot perspective to just help you stay grounded and help you know that this is real and it's for the greatest good of everyone that participates. You know, this thing is going to be big for everyday people, period. Who cares about what's going on in this field or that area or, you know, this government or that economic thing or hedge funds or anything like that.
We got plenty of work to do around here.
Yeah, we don't care about what they're doing. Just start with your neighborhood, your community, your town, your county, and go from there and just look at the difference, man, and just take pride and take graciousness and gratitude that look what you did, right? And that's what we're here for.
Here,
just thought I'd
our
throw
next
that
caller, Twin Cities 763. One question, please. Twin Cities.
Jerry, how you doing?
Yo, come on down. Good.
All right. My question is for you. When you say shotgun start, does that mean the private and public group are going to go all at once, or is it going to be like they said, the internet group and then the public? Is that going to be lumped together or not?
My version of shotgun approach is nobody gets paid till everybody gets paid.
Okay, so basically everybody's going to go. It doesn't matter if you're in a group or not. Everybody's going to go.
Correct.
Yeah. To clarify that even more, there may be a shotgun approach. I'm fully supportive of the view that on the private side, again, let's always keep these two components in perspective, the private and public side. The private side, I fully believe that part of the reason there's been so many details to take care of throughout this whole process on the private side is the fact that all of these funds are going to be released at once, except for some of the larger humanitarian kind of project funds. I know for a fact that tremendous amounts have already been released for already established globally present type of humanitarian project organizations. And they're out there right now talking to people and getting things going, and they've got funds, tremendous amounts of funds. The rest of it relating to bond exchanges and currency exchange, bond redemptions and currency exchanges, and all the different groups, no matter where those groups are and what do you want to call it, dinar land or internet group or whatever. Let's just stay away from trying to delineate those. But all those funds are going to be released on the private side at the same time, and there's a very specific reason for that, in my opinion. On the public side, you know, there is no plausible scenario I can come up with that shows me that we're going to wake up one day and the Vietnamese dong is going to go from, it's going to be, yesterday it was 21,000 to the dollar, and today it's $2 to 1 VND. I mean, that just doesn't work on so many economic, logical levels. It's just, you know, there's no shotgun on the public side.
That's a whole nother conversation, okay?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to go on to our, and thank you, sir. Trying to do is get as many people as possible. Oh, I got a clarifying text. Can we clarify the October 1st China comment? For me, it's very, very simple, very, very self-explanatory. Right now, the entire world is operating on a fiat currency system. China has made the statement or the fact with the IMF that come October 1st, they're going to be an asset-backed currency. Well, once that happens, nobody else will want anything but their currency because it will have something backing it. So that's going to force the situation. Can you give some more clarity to that, 3D?
Yeah, I think a good analogy for that is letting the fox into the chicken coop. And in this case, the chicken coop is the current IMF basket of foreign exchange reserve currencies, which would be the dollar, the yen, the pound, and the euro. Now there's going to be a fifth one in there, which is the yuan, the Chinese yuan. And if anybody that's following what's going on behind the scenes in China, but it's still public information, they're already doing things with their sovereign bonds and also corporate bonds, state-owned companies directly connected to all the minerals and resources and whatever else that is in China. They are already moving. Of course, they have massive amounts of gold that are both on the books and then they're on another set of books, and soon that shoe will drop on how much gold they actually have, as well as many of the Chinese citizens. They hold tons of gold. I mean, not tons, but lots of gold, and far more per capita than any other country, in my opinion. So they're already those steps of the yuan being what you would call reality-based gold-backed or asset-backed. Those are happening right now ahead of the October 1st. So literally, when the yuan enters that chicken coop at the IMF, there's going to be let's just say some furniture moving going on in there, right? So I agree. That's really what's going on. So on the public side, though, that's the public side. All right.
Yeah. The big thing is they'll be asset backed. Everybody else is positioning their country because they know for a fact that come October 1st, China will, raise their curtain and say, ta-da, we're open for business with an asset-backed currency, and will accept nothing from anybody else that's not asset-backed. That's just my opinion. So here we go on our next call. Sanford in Florida, 407. Come on down. Sanford.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
My question is, for the 5 currencies that we know about and talk about, what amount of each qualifies an individual as a whale?
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm going to say a Captain Obvious statement. If you've got enough currency, you already know you're a whale, right? So it's just something you know or you don't know. If you make the amounts of currency you have known to a wealth manager, you're going to know it. All right. They will neither confirm or deny why they're meeting with you, but everybody knows why they're meeting with you, right? So it's kind of one of those funny things, and I have firsthand direct experience with it. So I don't think there's a specific amount, ma'am. I just think it correlates to what will the rates be, and so in some currencies they're going to have obviously more ROI, return on investment, than others. But 1 million dinar is not a whale status. So I won't speculate, but it's way above that, right? So.
Yeah. All right. So we're on to our next caller. My computer is slow today. Newport, Rhode Island, 401. Come on down.
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, guys?
Good.
I love Newport, Rhode Island. Love what you guys do with that city over the last 20 years. Man, that place has really come up. I love it.
I muted him because he's got a lot of wind noise. So if you can get out of the wind here for just a second, please. I'll give you just a minute.
Probably in the harbor somewhere.
Oops. He dropped off.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, yeah, he'll call back in. Raise your hand back again, and I'll get to you. Las Vegas, Nevada, 702. Sin City. What happens in Vegas shall not stay in Vegas.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hello.
How are you?
You have a lot of background
Howdy.
noise, too. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Yes, I muted you out. You had a lot of noise there. Go ahead.
Okay. My question is about the forum. What is your email address where I can inquire about my login? Because I had a login from the beginning, from its inception, and as of yesterday, my login no longer worked. And
hold on. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
To answer that question, go to the WINGIT call at gmail.com. And Put your request in there. Put
Okay,
your
so
login. Put your the wingitcall@gmail.com.
Perfect. And put my login ID.
Yep.
Okay,
And
that's all
somebody
I
will
need
get back
to
with
know.
you.
Perfect. Thank you, and have a great weekend.
You too.
You know, I'm just thinking about the caller that asked about what level of currency do you have to be a whale, and I'm just thinking about that, and I'm wondering, you know, why, you know, what's the relevance of that, right? It's just a piece of information, and again, knowing that doesn't change whether you're a whale or not, right? It's just kind of interesting. I'm not disparaging the caller. It's an interesting question, though. I'm contemplating that right now, but it's a piece of information that's kind of like, okay, now we know or don't know, but what does that change in my life today? Nothing. All right. So interesting.
I'd like to lead with this analogy, because if you walk into a store like Neiman Marcus or some of those high-end places, and you look at something, you say, how much is that? They give you that stupid look of, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Yeah,
so,
been there, done that. Yeah. So I would just say that, you know, here again, being centered and consciously aware of where we are, this isn't about trying to define who a whale is or what that means to us personally. I know people that I guess we could call a whale that have substantial amounts of currency, and there's this connotation that they're fat cat greedy people that are going to get a first place in line in front of us, and I would like just to raise that awareness. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that, and it doesn't really matter to where we are, no matter what amount of currency we have. And I can even say that there have been steps taken for you know, lower amounts of currency, that it's not going to be all sucked up by people with larger amounts of currency in terms of the relative amounts of funds and that type of thing. This is
they're going to spread the wealth. Yep.
Yes, this is not about those people don't want us to have this money. There is nothing true about that. Nothing true.
Okay. Here we go. Middletown, Delaware, 302.
Hi, guys. My question has to do with the whole public-private thing, and I've listened to Awake's analysis of the 800 numbers, so I'm not asking for him to rehash that. But my concern is that I kind of never stopped telling people about this, and there are probably 20 or 25 people that depend on me to let them know what's going on, and I'm just concerned that the process is going to work in such a way to where they're going to be part of that, whatever you want to call them, the public side that may not be aware of what's going on. Especially if I have to go and exchange and I have to sign an NDA, I'll be done with trying to help them at that point. And you guys probably have people in your own lives that are maybe fall into that category. And have you thought about that and how?
So let me answer that question. So what you do, if that happens, they're not going to be left out, kicked to the curb. They're still going to get an opportunity to exchange at the international rate after other things happen. So what you do is you set up a code phrase or code word that tells them that you're off doing your thing. And basically it says, oh, when he sends us this, I'm leaving on a jet plane. Well, that tells them that you're in the process and you're going to have to sign an NDA, and they know what they need to do and start watching out for things. Simple as that.
Let me clarify the NDA. The NDA means you cannot disclose specific information related to your exchange. That's the only thing it means. It means you can't talk about rates. You can't talk about who you met with, where you went, what you did. All right, but the NDA does not prevent you from helping other people that you know have currency. Now, you can't give them the details like, well, if you go and stand outside of this place where I did mine, maybe they'll let you in. You cannot do that, right? But I think there's a misunderstanding about the NDA out there where people think that even if they mention the word Vietnamese dong, they're violating their NDA. Of course you're not, right? It just means you cannot divulge specific information about what you did in your transaction. But you can still help people. You can still tell them, okay, you've got this currency. There's coming a time where whether there's an 800 number you can call out there in the public domain, call this number. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's just specifically information regarding your personal transaction, your business dealings, where you went, what you did, how you did it, who you met with. It's those things. But you're not going to be prevented from even mentioning the word GCR or RV or currency or anything. I mean, no, that's just simply not the case. And there will be opportunities for people to exchange their currency outside of.
Just tell them I've started my new life, and there's certain things I can and can't talk about. So if I don't answer something, you'll know why. Alrighty.
All you say is, I'm sorry, I'm under NDA. I can't discuss those details. It's easy.
We're going to the Windy City. Come on down.
Oh my gosh, my home territory.
Windy City, 773.
Hello?
Okay, Chicago.
Thank you.
Chicago, come on down.
Chicago is here. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Hello? Yeah. All right. Thank you for taking my call. Question for a week. You mentioned the USNs and their announcement or being made known to the public before SKRs can be made really truly liquid or hydrated. These coupons can be cashed. Shotgun approach. Are we waiting on these USNs to be announced? Is this a public announcement? Can this be done quietly? What's the status there? Thank you.
All right. I'll draw attention first that many people seem to pick up on keywords like shotgun and the USN and public announcement. Those seem to be kind of key resonant words that kind of stick in our brain. What I'd ask you to do when I answer this question is be consciously aware of the words I'm using and be aware that there's information you've probably read already about the USN and that type of thing, that you may have been caught up in the dinar land amnesia effect where we go from one data point to the next and forget everything from before. So
gotcha.
I did not say that we're waiting for the USN to be publicly announced. All right. We're waiting for the USN to become active or to become linked or to become associated with a specific set of assets. Collateral. We're waiting for the dollar to become collateralized, and for those of you that know what that means that there's literally something tangible that's real of value behind that piece of paper or those digital dollars that are in your bank account, right? That's not the case today. We all know that. So what we're waiting for is that collateral, be that gold and be that other resources, be that GDP, those types of assets. We're waiting for that to be associated or connected with the current U.S. dollar, and that will create what we call the USN. I'm not giving every detail here, and people can split hairs with me about what I'm saying, but I need to be brief, so forgive me for kind of making it for paraphrase. So when that happens, it could happen tonight. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next week. We do not know when that will happen. All right? And again, anybody that tells you they do doesn't, because people that do don't talk on dinar land and they don't post things and they don't write things. All right? So the key is once those is associated or backing or yep, I'm here. Once that collateral is associated with the current dollar, that's when the funds that we're all waiting for will truly become live or active or whatever you want to say there. But that means that the exchanges can begin. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. The texts just keep coming. That's what we're waiting for. And my current view on that is it will not be a public announcement. It might be, but I don't support that view right now. And it really doesn't matter to me whether it's a public announcement or not. I just want that dollar to be collateralized, right? And backed up, because that means things happen, period, for us. That makes it real. That brings it in our reality. And until that happens, it's not real for us. But I don't think it's going to be public, all right, for a while. It could even be till October time when the yuan does its thing and all of that. But nobody really knows for sure. I hope that helps.
All right, we're going to go on to our next caller. And I can actually pronounce this. Homosassa Springs, Florida, 352. Come on down.
That's Homosassa. Hi, Jerry.
Well, at least it's not wacky weed, something Florida. Go ahead.
Well, every day we get a new reason to hold this thing up. Now we got the collateralized dollar to worry about, and we've got October the 1st to worry about as new window backs. But my question is, since October 1st hasn't gotten here yet, what impact do you think that has on the RV not happening sooner?
Well,
I'd like to ask you, you use the word worry, all right? Are you truly worried about the gold backing or the asset backing of the dollar? Or is that the word you want to use, worry?
No, I did. Did I mention worry?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I did.
We have to worry about.
Well,
I would say we're not worried. We're not worried. It's going to happen. It has to happen, right? It has to, because the fiat system is getting closer. It is. It's deflating every day, right? So the issue around the USN, or the asset backing of the dollar, is nothing new. It's always been what has to happen for these exchanges and for our funds to be released. So it is by no means a new issue. It's always been the issue. But there's just been a massive amount of activity and things that have had to happen before getting to that. This is a global thing. And worrying about, to use your word, worrying about October 1st and the yuan, that is going to happen. That's public information. The yuan is included in the IMF basket as of October 1st, but there's a whole bunch of things happening right now in preparation for that. It's been going on for the better part of a year since the IMF, announced that they have voted to allow the Chinese yuan into the IMF basket. So those things are nothing to worry about. And the final question is, will the RV be delayed up until that point? Again, I'll reiterate that the private side of this is technically not dependent on specific global events happening, such as the yuan being included October 1st into the thing. Now, is it possible? Is it possible that we'll be waiting on the private side, that something else or some other type of issue comes up? That's always a possibility. But it's just not worth worrying about it as an event. We know these events are going to take place. It's just nobody knows when the time comes when the USN will be active, whether it's public or not public. At first, we don't care. We don't worry about it. It's going to happen, and that's when we go, right? And all I can say is where we are right now is the closest we have ever been. We've not been in this part of the process where we are right now, all right? So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, Just to clarify for you, I use the word worry because I'm a third-degree cancer patient, and I can't afford the medicine until it happens. So that's the only reason I use worry.
All right.
Other than that, I understand it.
All right.
So
It's coming. It's coming.
I appreciate your definitive answer.
All right. See you later, Wingman.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Wingman's got to go. Let's see.
I got a text saying, can you please speak slower? Because people are trying to transcribe. Sorry, guys.
So
I only have one speed. It's what I talk and no talk. I can't slow down. I'm sorry. I wish I could.
Raleigh, North Carolina. 919.
Redneck Radio. How are you?
Redneck Radio.
You bet, man. Thanks for the selection of music again.
You're welcome.
Awaken 3D in 62 seconds or less. How huge is this meeting in China, and is Christine Lagarde going to be there? I'll mute out.
She is there. She did a tweet saying she was in China for the G20 meeting. She put that out actually Thursday night, our time. And for me, the meeting is huge because the bond market is in the toilet. Finances worldwide are in the toilet. And they're trying to get things, they already took themselves out, trying to get things ironed out to figure out how to save their shorts. So,
well, we're certainly not waiting for Christine Lagarde to get arrested. That's not what we're waiting for. Okay.
No. All right, here we go. Lafayette, 337. Come on down.
I got a question nobody's asked before.
Okay.
Did anybody get a letter from the Department of Justice, Middle District of Alabama, about Denard Court and a guy named?
Oh yeah, that's been around. That's been going around the internet, and they're just letting you know what's going on.
That's your victim notification letter. Yep.
Yeah, I call that number. Go ahead.
Yep. Yep. It's a class action lawsuit, and everybody that's been involved from either of these organizations have been identified as victims under the definition of the Department of Justice, which means whatever settlement is reached, all the victims will participate in whatever settlement.
Right. Okay. On to our next one. And it's not the same person. Port St. Lucie, 772. Come on down.
Hi, Jerry. Can you hear me? Jerry, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. My question revolves around the timing and the pressure to implement the Zim exchange, because the issue for myself and probably many people on this call is, even though I've had money in the past, I've never had this quantity, and my philanthropic ideas, I need training, I need time, and if they're telling us we got to do this whole thing and set it up in 3 days, doesn't give us enough time other than to just go ahead and stick it in the skeleton trust and allow the entire situation to be handled by the bank. And I'm a little nervous about that.
Okay. We've got the word nervous, and also I would say that your entire the premise of the question, you're basing that on information that you've received, and I've read that information as well. I would ask you, why are you accepting that as what the case is going to be? 3 days to get your stuff in order? Skeleton trust? Look up, Google skeleton trust. The only place they come up is mostly in our land discussion. So I would first I would step back and say, is that information accurate to begin with, which then would relieve your worry or your concern about your 3 days. Nobody is in place in this exchange process to force you to make a decision within some period of time. All right? You're going to have plenty of time to think all of your projects through, plenty of time to assemble your financial team, to interview them, to see who resonates with you, who shares your objectives, and get that team together, and then you move on from there. Any information I have about you've got 3 days or you have to put your money in something called a skeleton account. I've been around banking and finance for a long time. I understand what a fiduciary account is and those kinds of things. It just means they can't loan your money out. The bank can't do anything with it. It's frozen, right? Meaning you can only do things with it, not them, from a retail banking perspective. So I would breathe, relax, and stay aware of these things that can change your mind in a heartbeat, in a dinar land heartbeat, and ask the question, am I going to accept this information as the truth, and then am I going to react from there? I would not do it. I get a lot of information, and most of the information I throw out. And I won't even put my energy into communicating that or bringing that up on my website or where I reside and that type of thing. So just know this, you'll have plenty of time to do what you want to do what you need to do to get these funds structured for the best possible, highest good of yourself in your personal situation. And that will be the same for all of us.
Okay, great answer. Last caller, Denver, Colorado, 303. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry. Hi, Awake.
Hi.
Shout out to all the gladiators out there, and thank you, Jerry, for the call. Hey, I tried to get this answered the other night when you were on doing the chat over at Winsome. My question concerns the negative interest rates on all the bonds and people getting nervous about the U.S. stock market maybe going to crash or have a major downward correction. And I know you're not a financial advisor, et cetera, but if you were in the stock market, would you be looking at getting out, or do you think the GCR might come in time to save the day?
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll consider this a little more than a guess, but no, I am not a financial advisor. All right. So everything I say is my opinion. The key thing is, one, if we look at the goal and the purpose of the GCR, it's to actually prevent the world or the global economic system from all-out collapse. I like to use the word soft collapse, all right, which is happening right now. This is no secret. Just anybody that knows anything about what's going on can see this happening on a daily basis. The bonds are just one area. So the question about if you have a portfolio right now, what should you do? That is a personal decision. You certainly, unless you're relying on a fixed income that's being generated from that portfolio of investments, that makes it a little bit harder, because if you liquidate everything into cash, you're literally cutting off your income, right? But maybe you want to decide to live off a little of that principle, right? So, but that's a personal decision, and I cannot advise on that. What I can say is, if you decide to leave it in, the markets may go through some turmoil, but I'll just remind you of some facts from 2008, which is the most recent, crisis we've gone through. A lot of people's 401ks in the ensuing months of the Lehman Brothers collapse turned into what we like to call in the financial industry 201ks, right? So here's what happened. The people that liquidated their 401ks while they were degrading every day took an absolute real loss, all right? If they would have left those alone and wrote it out, they would have been okay within the coming month, year and a half, and that type of thing, because it did recover. right? So, and people rebalance their 401ks and that type of thing in their investment portfolios appropriately. So, the decision whether or not you liquidate right now is yours and yours alone based on your personal situation. However, if you do decide to leave it in, I would venture to say it's not like you're going to take a loss. If the dollar goes through a hyperinflation period, that's okay. All right, it will come back. The USN will stop that, and that will be a forced play on a public USN, by the way, when that hyperinflation comes into play. So that's the best answer I can give.
Well, I appreciate that. It makes a lot of sense, and I agree with everything that you're saying. My concern was hearing so much about the negative bond rates and all this doom and gloom out there, like, oh my God, the stock market's just going to go away, and financial Armageddon and all this stuff. And frankly, I inherited money from my,
Yeah. Yeah. UPM.
I've never had
I
this
remember
problem.
this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
the stock market is not going away. The stock market is not going away. It's a fundamental tool for driving the economy, and the GCR.
That's what I thought. If you've got some of these major
is about
companies,
collapsing that, right? No, that's not going away. No.
Well, I appreciate it, Awake, and thanks so much, and thank you, Jerry, for the call.
Jerry, you're not there.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about that? Can you hear me now?
There you go. We can hear you now.
If you'll give us a summary, and then that way people can listen to the replay. We've had some great conversation. We could talk for several hours, but I try to keep it to an hour and 15 minutes. That way when people do listen to the replay, they know what's going on.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we don't want to go on too long because then that amnesia kicks in and all of that type of thing. So I'll just summarize by saying, again, be aware of things that you knew yesterday that today you read a piece of information that may cause you to forget what you knew yesterday and the day before and the day before. Go back to a place where you were confident in your position in this exchange, in the GCR, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. Just find a place where you were confident and you felt good, because this really is, you should feel good about this. You should know that this is for your highest good, and no matter what that means to your personal situation. And stay grounded. We're in a great place. Wow, we've heard that before. But we are where we've never been. How long the rest of it is going to take is not known. So just accept in your heart and your mind that you do not know when this is going to happen. And I know there's a lot of people hurting out there. There are many, and I get the PMs every day. But also take comfort, or at least be aware in your conscious state that no matter how desperate your need is, it is not going to make this happen any faster. And just accept that. But it is going to happen. And we don't know exactly when, but it's as close to our door as it can possibly be without us actually going through the exchange process, which is when it becomes real for us. And no matter what information you read, whether it's from me or anywhere else, just know that at the end of the day, it's just information, and it doesn't make it any more or less real for us. It isn't real until we're actually going through the process. So look forward to that moment. Live every day to your fullest. Stay grounded. And for whatever you do, please do not make decisions based on what you believe when it's going to happen. That could hurt you. All right? That is not what this event is about. And just live each day to the fullest. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your parks. Enjoy your get-togethers. Make decisions today as if you have never, ever heard about the GCR, right? What would you do if you didn't know about the GCR? It's what I have to do every day. It really is, right? Because it's easy to get caught up in this thing and in all of this noise. And I'm speaking from experience. So thanks, everyone, for listening. I hope this has been helpful. And I'm really hoping you're feeling a little bit more comfortable and better and disposing with worry and concern and those types of things to the best of your ability. Thank you very much.
thank you. And anytime you want to come back, just let me know and we'll do it again. All righty. So, Lord, thank you for providing a platform to teach the people as you taught us. We thank you for everything you've done. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So, as Iko always says, goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome to the conference.